Welcome to Anime Ravens, and as always, I'm your host, Casey. In this first review, we will be doing Rezero, starting life in another world. Now, before we start, for people who have not seen this, there will be spoilers. So if you do not want spoilers, I suggest you leave. For people who don't mind spoilers, continue watching and enjoy. Now, before I start with the characters and the backstory of all this, I'm going to just give my general overall opinion of the anime real quick first, and then move to that. So, for the animation of ReZero, it was very beautifully done, clean and cut. I loved every aspect of it, and I know that sounds generic, but I'm being honest that I very much loved it. Just it was just so clean. Like you could not find how can I say, anything out of place or that was how distorted. Um, where you could see some animations that have that where you have like high clean cut animation, then it will suffer like some parts of it that just don't look well done. Some have that problem. Now, okay, I'm talking too much on that. But next for music, intro and outro was done well too. In the intro to ReZero, opening one was probably what I loved the most for this one. So yeah, for the music and sound effects throughout the animation of this ReZero will I'd say was very good. Music during scenes, battle sequences, or just scenes alone that they used was done and perfectly timed. Now let's get into the character progression. This is where it gets tricky. The reason why I say it gets tricky because normally how character progression is done, in my opinion, is you start off with your main protagonist, his backstory, the other characters around him, and slowly building through the story. Now, the reason why ReZero is different in my eyes is it is put in the same sense, which our main character is Subaru. I know I haven't mentioned him yet, but it is centered around him, and then you got your other characters, which the main characters I would say that are focused around him is Amelia, uh, Puck, which is Amelia's spirit that she uses, that she has a contract with, and I'll explain that more. And then the two sisters, Rem and Ra. Next is Beatrice, and then you got those. I have to say those are the main characters that revolve around him right now. Now, why I say it's different in ReZero is because the circumstances surrounding Super, and that and that would be what you call it, the fact that in ReZero, when he in certain circumstances, well, not certain, but when he dies, he gets resurrected at a checkpoint, pretty much. At a certain point, at like a save point in a video game. That's the best way to describe it. I find that funny, but yeah. And they basically the interactions and events that he had with the other characters in the story, they forget the interactions that they had with Super, or the events leading up to where he died. Um, and this is why I say character building is kind of tricky for this. Even though they still retain their like their even though he retains the memories, they don't. So that's why I feel like the character building for them kind of gets reset each time. Um, but yeah, I still say the character building is good regardless because once he clears the stages, the interactions are still beautiful, and seeing each interaction and each different sequence that happens and how he has to go through it is what makes, I think, what makes Rezero fun. So, yeah, that's my general overall opinion for Rezero. Now I'm gonna get into more of each character and explain like their overall like what they bring to the table and how they what do you call it, interact with Subaru. First character, which is our main protagonist, which is Subaru. Was brought to the world, and how it was done is still, he was summoned, which I believe it is, but I'm still not sure if, well, if you're further than me in ReZero, whoever wants to comment on this and correct me, that's fine. But how in the animation how it's done was that he was at a convenience store just buying some stuff, and when he got outside, he slowly was just like rubbing his eye like that and then blinking, and next thing you know, he was in the world, in a new world. Um, and I found that scene so amazing. Now, I know I'm supposed to talk about just the characters alone, but that I had to mention that was just, it was just beautifully executed. Um, Now, as in Subaru in general, he is what you would call a shut-in. As you, no interactions with people too much, but he seems to enjoy doing exercise and being athletic to stay in shape, which is funny, which you'll see throughout ReZero. He'll talk about doing cardio and like different stretches and stuff and trying to show characters how to do it, which I find even more funny. Now let's move on to the first, what do you call it, in the first, I want to say 3 episodes, because the other character that's going to be a main interaction for Subaru is Amelia. Um, Amelia is also known to other because she's a what we call half elf, and because of that, why this is such an important thing, which Subaru doesn't find out until later, if I'm not mistaken, until episode what was it, 3 or 4? No, he doesn't find out about. No, he finds out in episode 5. Is what do you call it? Because she's a half elf, she resembles another character that is shrouded in mystery, called the Witch of Envy, Satella. Now, the name is even more renowned that you'll find out, like, because in the first episode when he meets Amelia and her pendant, her emblem was stolen by a thief, which was Felt, which is another character that plays a major role through episode 1 through 3. Also, but Subaru says that he like because Amelia ends up helping him and saving him, and that's how they really meet. And now Subaru wants to help her. He introduces himself to her, and what do you call it? Pretty much is love at first sight in a way, and that's how animes work. Sometimes it's funny, but and how she introduces herself is she doesn't give her true name to him. Instead, she basically borrows the name Satella, and he believes her naturally. Um, and her spirit Puck comes out. Now, Puck, as I said, is a spirit, and not many people are able to summon spirits, or use the art called spirit arts, where they borrow the magic from that spirit and use it as their own through their body, through their I think how they say it, their gate, their magic gate that which lies inside of their body, like in the center. It's like their main core, and they draw out. They let the magic pass through their gate to use it, and then you got magic. We call it um, magic art users that they call them. And what they use is every human is born in with mana in this world, um, which they summon their own mana to let it pass through their gate, and depending on what attribute they are used with, they can summon, they can use magic that way. But it drains them and tires them out throughout a progress, and each person's we call it magic levels are different of how much mana they can use. Now, okay, I know I'm going to talk too much into that, but now back to Subaru and Emilia's meeting, that their interactions throughout the whole series is he is truly in love with her, and will go basically, like I said, he dies. He basically dies and then gets put back at a checkpoint when he dies until he can clear, like I said, clear a stage, but not clear a stage. Stop whatever's basically killing him in the events and killing the people around him to get a better outcome. Hard on Subaru, because of going through each time and remembering of dying. Like just imagine that, like dying over repeatedly and remembering how you died and knowing it's gonna be coming up and trying to figure out a way to get out of it. But those are the lengths he's willing to go for Amelia. Another quick thing I'm gonna say, if I didn't already say it, was two nicknames that are given to Amelia. The first one is by Subaru, which is Mealy, and the second one is by Puck, her spirit, which is Leah. I just want to put that in there real quick. Now, to explain the other characters that he interacted with in the beginning of when he first was trying to get the pendant back for Amelia. And that was Felt and Old Man Rom. Which Felt was the person who stole her emblem, and Old Man Rom was her pretty much a bodyguard of. He is a shopkeeper, and we call it, who deals in with that type. It's a pawn shop. My bad. And how they finally end up coming to find where the pawn shop is, and that's when the first incident happens, because it's like nighttime there when they get there. And in the first instance, Subaru goes in by himself, telling Amelia to stay outside, and he'll go in. And that's when he sees Old Man Rom dead, and then he ends up getting killed, and then he ends up seeing Amelia get killed right after, because she comes in a little bit later. How we find out who ends up killing them is another character that's introduced, and that is the Bouse Hunter, Elsa. And yeah, I won't get too much into that because that's going to take up more time than I have on this video, and I'll probably edit this out or something. But yeah, no, I probably won't edit it out. I just say. But now another character that also played a major role in that episode is, I'm going to mention him right now, is let's see, what was his name? Reinhardt. And he is one of the knights of the capital. That is basically, you could definitely say he's a magic, not magic, but master sword wielder with a legendary sword that can only be used at certain times. Um, and is very damn destructive because he took out Elsa pretty simply. Like, it was, yeah, it was stupid. Other characters I want to, like, other characters that I gotta mention in this video before I gotta cut this short is, I'm gonna go with Rem next, because Rem plays a major role. She's one of the sisters, the two sisters, Rem and Ram, which Rem is the blue-haired one, Ram is the pink-haired sister, and both are amazing, but I have to settle with Rem. Uh, she's just got that, like, she's that person you want to like cheer on, and like, she's not the best, she's not like the best, but she's like, you know she can be. You just instinctively want to root for her. And she is also one that is in love with Subaru. Now this one part is, and I know I'm jumping way ahead because I know my video is going to be a little short, and I know I'm jumping around, but was in episode 18 is when Subaru has lost his way because of seeing, we call it Amelia, and the other people at the mansion that I didn't mention yet because, like I said, this is only going to be a small review, my first one, but that's something else different. And he's lost his way, and she gets him back on track because she finally tells him that she is in love with him, and tells him all the different qualities that, even though he says how he hates himself, all the different qualities that she sees good in him and that inspires her to be better, which it was such a beautiful moment. And the speech that she gave was just like, it was breathtaking to me. And it was also even harder to watch when he, like, thanked her, because before she gave the speech, he asked her to run away with him because he couldn't deal with this anymore. He wanted to leave the country with her and go find, live out a small life, get a job with her, have children, even though that's not who he, and it's kind of sad to say, who he truly loved. But he has grown attached and has, like, I want to say he might have feelings for her. I want to say, like, has the feelings that he has for Amelia, but it's getting. But she knew that wasn't the right move to make, and at the end of it, he basically tells her that how he feels about Amelia, and it's just, it was a funny thing. Like it was just because how she did it, and yeah. But I love that part. I can't wait for, if you haven't seen this, I hope this review does make you want to go watch this anime, because it is a treat. It is a real treat. This anime definitely deserves to be watched. It's a very, I want to say it's underrated, but it's definitely, some people have not seen it. It's under the radar kind of, but not really. It's in the middle. Other characters to really mention that I haven't is Beatrice. She is basically the mansion, the mansion's, I want to say, like a guardian, like the guardian of the mansion that guards it. Her presence is actually one I still want to look into myself, and if anybody here who sees my video gets to this point, I feel like she's still she doesn't lose her memories or the events of after Subaru dies. I feel like she keeps hold of them. Um, so, but I think she might just have some knowledge that something is going on, but doesn't have her full memories. That she just recognizes that some parts are missing, so she knows that it has to do with him, and that's why she's kind of like she helps him in her own way, even though it's not the it's nice, but it's not the nicest. But yeah. I know I didn't cover everything in this, and I hope many different surprises, even though I didn't cover everything. I hope different surprises keep you on your toes then. This was definitely my first review. I hope you enjoyed. So yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye, and until next time, this is Anime Raven's first review on ReZero, starting a life in another world.